The air in the Senate chamber was thick with tension that morning, so thick you could almost hear hearts pounding behind those polished oak desks. Cameras lined the walls like silent judges, their red lights blinking as if waiting to capture history in the making. The topic on the floor wasn't just another policy debate, it was a political showdown that would ripple through the nation for months. Senator John Kennedy sat quietly at his seat, glasses resting on the bridge of his nose, flipping through his handwritten notes. Across the aisle, Hillary Clinton stood poised, every inch of her posture radiating authority and confidence. But beneath her calm demeanor, there was fiery and intent to dismantle Kennedy's reputation, piece by piece. For weeks, whispers had circulated in Washington. Clinton was preparing a calculated strike, accusing Kennedy of obstructing key legislation linked to national security funding. The media had been fed snippets of documents, rumors of shady dealings, and anonymous reports that painted Kennedy as a manipulator behind closed doors. Kennedy, known for his sharp wit and unwavering calm, had stayed silent through it all. "Never wrestle with the pig," he once said. "You both get dirty, but the pig likes it." But that morning, he knew silence would no longer protect him. As Clinton took the floor, her voice rang through the chamber, powerful and cutting. "Senator Kennedy," she began, "has repeatedly stood in the way of progress, prioritizing personal agendas over the safety of this nation. Documents show," as she paused for effect, glancing at the camera, "so that his recent actions have undermined congressional unity and compromised classified negotiations." Gasps rippled through the room. Every word felt rehearsed, every accusation precise. Kennedy sat motionless, but inside, his heart thudded. He knew the truth, and he also knew the cost of speaking it. When she finally yielded her time, the chamber buzzed like a disturbed hive. The presiding officer turned to Kennedy. "Senator from Louisiana, you have the floor." Kennedy slowly rose, buttoning his coat, his southern drawl calm and steady as he began. "Madam President, with all due respect to my colleague from New York, there's a big difference between standing in the way of progress and standing up for principle." The room quieted. Even Clinton's confident smirk faded slightly. He continued, "When I was a boy in Zachary, Louisiana, my daddy told me something I'll never forget. He said, 'Son, when you find yourself surrounded by snakes, don't stomp your feet, just stand tall and let the light show who's hiding in the grass.'" Kennedy leaned on the podium, locking eyes with Clinton. "Today, the light's shining bright in this chamber." Then, with steady precision, he revealed the truth. The documents Clinton cited, misinterpreted drafts from a committee that Kennedy had flagged for potential foreign influence. The classified negotiations he supposedly interfered with. He'd halted a vote because a clause within it funneled millions toward a consulting firm later linked to a foreign lobbying network. "If defending America's interests makes me an obstruction," Kennedy said, voice deepening, "then I plead guilty." The silence that followed was deafening. A few senators shifted uncomfortably. Others glanced toward Clinton, whose confidence had begun to crack. Kennedy reached into his folder and placed a stack of verified reports on the desk before him. "These are the real records," he said. "Checked, signed, transparent. Every action I've taken is right here. And if my colleague from New York wants to destroy my name, she'll have to do it with facts, not fiction." The press gallery erupted the moment he finished. Reporters scribbled frantically, cameras zoomed in, and social media feeds lit up with the clip. Within hours, networks began replaying the exchange. Hashtags trended nationwide. #Kennedy exposes the truth, #Clinton cornered, #stand for principle. What started as an ambush had turned into a lesson in courage and restraint. But the story didn't end there. Later that evening, Kennedy sat alone in his office, the adrenaline finally subsiding. He looked out over the Capitol dome, its white marble glowing in the fading sun. His aide, a young intern named Sarah, stepped in quietly. "Senator, you know the press is calling this a win." "You made her look small." Kennedy smiled faintly. "Sarah, I wasn't trying to make her look small. I was trying to make the truth look big." Days later, an ethics committee quietly cleared Kennedy of all accusations. Clinton, meanwhile, faced mounting questions about her sources and motives. She remained composed publicly, but insiders whispered that her attempt to destroy Kennedy had backfired spectacularly. Kennedy's approval rating soared. But for him, the victory wasn't about politics, it was about something deeper. At his next town hall, he spoke to a crowd of ordinary Americans, farmers, teachers, veterans, students. You know, he said, in Washington, power makes a lot of people forget what honesty feels like. But the broken bar, the truth doesn't need spin doctors or million-dollar ads. It just needs a voice strong enough to speak it when it matters most. The crowd erupted in applause. Some even teared up. For a moment, politics didn't feel like a battle, it felt like a calling. That night, as he walked back to his car, Kennedy passed a group of reporters waiting in the cold. One of them called out, "Senator, do you have any regrets about what happened?" He paused, hands in his pockets, eyes distant but warm. "No regrets," he said softly. "Because sometimes, standing alone with the truth is worth more than standing together in a lie." And with that, he walked away under the soft glow of the Capitol lights, so calm, composed, and unshaken. The world had seen the battle, but few understood the deeper war he fought every day to stay honest in a city that rewards deception. By the end of that week, every news outlet replayed his words, and millions across America felt something stir inside, a reminder that integrity, though costly, is still the most powerful weapon a man can carry. Moral: even in the darkest corners of politics, truth has a way of finding its light. Those who stand by it, no matter the odds, don't just win debates, they restore faith in what's right.